Hello.
Hello and good morning on this cold, cold morning.
It is cold. It's Groundhog Day.
Woohoo!
Where is that little mother? I want to shoot him. No.
6 more
So,
weeks cold weather.
so this is Deborah Colleen Rose, and that's Luann Morris sitting side by side in different houses.
Yep.
And this is, we're talking again, watch out. And this is herb talk if you're English. I like the way the English say herb. Why is the H silent? Why would you use a letter and not use it?
Because they're English.
Well, they
Herb,
say the letter, we don't. So it's like we're lazy. We're lazy. We're not going to say
herb,
all our
herb,
letters.
herbs,
So it's herb
herbs.
talk with Herbal Lou,
Okay.
apothecary. Okay. And today, what are we talking about?
We're talking about ashwagandha.
All right. So let me do our disclaimer because Luann insists. She's very professional. This is our FDA disclaimer. The products and statements made about the specific products have not been evaluated by the United States Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. All information provided or any information contained or in product label or packaging is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for advice from your physician or other healthcare professional. You should not use the information given for diagnosis or treatment of any health problems. Always consult with a healthcare professional before starting any new vitamin supplements, diet, or exercise program, before taking any medication, or if you have or suspect you might have a health problem. I'm trying to get to where I only need 2 breaths to do this.
Wow. Yesterday you did better yesterday. What happened?
I did 3 yesterday. I almost got to the end before I had to do the third breath. I'm getting better.
Well,
Everybody's
when I'm trying to tell you about an herb, I'm giving you what I have found. And if you think it might fit into what you want, then you need to talk to your doctor and say, I want to try this because it helps with blah, blah. And is it going to interfere with any of my prescription medications?
and if you have a good doctor like I'll do, you go, Deborah, I know that you've researched this and you've always been right. So do what you think's best.
And if you have no clue, you need to talk to an herbalist or and there are some they don't call themselves herbalists, they call them traditional Chinese medicine. Um, so yeah, they could help you with that. And if nothing else, you can do the research. There's always Google, and find out, because most of the time when I look up an herb and I want to talk about it, it's because one, I've either used it, or two, I'm using the herb in one of my products and I want to know everything I can know about it. So ashwagandha was introduced to me by Carrie Glazer. She uses it for stress, and I was feeling particularly stressed more than usual. So I tried it. And this ashwagandha is called Withania somnifera. That's the genus and the species. It's commonly known as winter cherry, and I don't know where the name ashwagandha came from, but it's an evergreen shrub. It grows in India, the Middle East, and parts of Africa. It's definitely a medicinal herb in Ayurveda, which is from India. It's a short, tender shrub that can grow up to 30 inches tall. The leaves are a dull green, elliptical. You know what elliptical? They're about 3 or 4 inches long. The flowers are small, green, bell-shaped. The fruit is orange red. The roots and the berries are used for the medicinal supplements. And they're the active ingredient is called withanolides, which goes back to its genus name, withanolides. It contains 40 different kinds of withanolides, which are structurally similar to Panax ginseng, which is the Chinese, the Indian ginseng. So
So
here's,
wait a minute. So you're saying that it's in the ginseng family? Is that what you meant? Just
no, it's
is that what?
chemically, it's chemically like a cousin.
Oh, kissing cousin. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a cousin. So Some of the medicinal uses are stress and anxiety, and that's why I used it. As a matter of fact, the calming aspects of the ashwagandha have been compared to Valium, and which is lorazepam. A study in 2019, they were taking 250 to 600 milligrams a day, and they reported lower stress levels as well as lower cortisol levels. And, you know, as we stress, our cortisol increases, and that's kind of what causes trouble in our bodies, is an increase in cortisol. And that's why it can even add, not add to, but cause stress in your blood vessels. The cortisol can. So in another study, they were taking 240 milligrams. So it reduced, when compared to a placebo, the participants in this study said it significantly reduced their stress. It can also be used for arthritis. There's a component in there that helps relieve the pain and the pain signals that travel along the nervous system, the central nervous system. And that would be, suppose I had pain in my knee, it would interrupt those in my central nervous system and would not be processed in the brain as a pain. There's been some research on rheumatoid arthritis. And in that study, the participants had arthritis and said that it did reduce their stress, their pain, compared to a placebo, which is, you know, a placebo is nothing.
So does that mean that it's also reducing inflammation, or is it just interrupting the pain receptors?
Yeah, good question.
I'm full of them.
I don't see anything that says anything about inflammation, but there are a lot of medications that do both. So this is mainly about the withanols, yeah, if I could say that, reducing the stressors, withanolides, reducing the stressors, like taking a Valium or taking a Xanax, or I don't know if I would compare it to Xanax, because ashwagandha, in my experience, is not addictive. In other words, if I had to go without it, I wouldn't have any withdrawal symptoms. I haven't in the past, when I wasn't taking it, I didn't, but there's a certain level and preparation. It's called KSM-66, and I can see where that is more effective than just an ashwagandha you get that doesn't have any specifications on it. I actually get mine at CVS. And it's their CVS brand, but it says KSM-66 is the preparation that takes place. It's the concentration of the ashwagandha.
Well,
so
I have taken Xanax in the past, and I take ashwagandha for, you know, for stress now, and they're not anything alike. Xanax made me want to kiss everybody.
Oh no, I'm just saying that it actually helps you. To me, when you take Valium and Xanax, you have other things going on that are not normal for your normal day. You're either in the clouds or you're like you said, kissing everybody. So I don't think the ashwagandha, it just simply decreases the cortisol levels and helps with you dealing with the stress. And I take it in addition to an antidepressant that I take. So And my friends say it makes a difference. I don't see the difference, but
Oh, I do.
they pretty much know when I'm not taking it.
Pick me, pick me. I do. No.
They're like,
It-
did you take your ashwagandha, did you?
well, what's funny is that my daughter and I were talking about this morning because, she has anxiety issues and depression. And one of the things that was we were talking about is that, like, if you're prone to having bipolar in your family, like we are, sometimes you can't take things like St. John's wort for depression and anxiety because it will make you manic. And she has horrible reactions to this. But I have been reading about this so that we could talk about this. And they have shown that ashwagandha does not cause mania symptoms in people that take it. It's because all it's doing is it's treating the anxieties, lowering those levels of stress, that type of thing. So, you know, I told her, let's try it. Let's get you some, and let's try it.
And just remember that different people go. My friend Elizabeth tried it, and it really upset her stomach. And no matter if she took it with food, it didn't matter. And so it just didn't work for her. And
Did she try a different brand?
no, I don't think so. And then my friend Carrie only takes it at night because it makes her sleepy.
I take mine in the morning.
I take mine mid-morning to kind of stretch it out during the day. I don't have any sleepy feelings, but it definitely reduces my stress levels. It keeps me from yelling at people and being too snarky.
Yeah, it keeps me from shooting people.
Yeah, that's a so it also helps with heart health because it reduces the blood pressure, it lowers your cholesterol, it can ease chest pain. And I'm not saying instead of nitroglycerin or anything like that. That's not. Stress can cause a chest pain that's not related to a heart disease. And that's what it works on.
Yeah, if you're too stressed, it's my understanding, and you're the nurse, so you tell me if I'm wrong, that if you're really stressed, you can have muscle constrictions around the heart and in your chest. And if you understand that's what's happening, deep breaths will help relax that.
Right.
But that good portion, about, I think I read it was like 15% of people that go to the hospital, maybe even higher, that think they're having a heart attack. It's actually it's actually chest constrictions based upon stress.
And it can be, but here's the problem. If it's never happened to you before, you need to have it checked out because it could be something with your heart. I mean, if you've never had this constriction before, don't take any chances. Go to the hospital. Don't just pass it off as, oh, I'm stressed. Now, if you go that first time and they say, we believe this is stress induced, then the next time I want you to try the breathing and some relaxation and in and out.
Try to
So,
touch your elbows behind your back too. That helps loosen up that chest cavity.
right. And sometimes actually raising your arms will do that. So there was an interesting research done with men, and they were trying to increase their cardiorespiratory endurance when they ran. So they gave them the root extract, and it seemed to enhance their ability to have that respiratory exchange, so they could run longer. Interesting.
I just had a dirty thought about that.
No, we're not talking dirty today.
Okay.
Or during this time. I'll let you talk.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I'll tell you later.
So it's also may help with Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative conditions. There were studies done to prevent the loss, that they were hoping to slow or prevent loss of brain function in Alzheimer's, Huntington's, and Parkinson's. So these conditions progress as parts of the brain and its connective paths become damaged, and they believe that this could really help with that connective tissue. And of
Is that
course,
because the blood flow increase or what? Why?
yes,
I'm not following why.
yes, because it actually passes the blood-brain barrier and can get to the connective tissues of your brain. The problem with this is these particular studies were done in mice and rats and in the early and it just, you have to do it in humans. You have to, it's kind of a progressive thing. You do mice, rats. If you have some changes take place, then you might get approval for human trials. They just want to make sure that it's not going to kill you, I
So
mean,
have they done any testing on humans with any of the herbs that we've talked about so far?
some of them they have, and I usually put that in there if it was a human trial. We would need to do, I would need to go to some scientific websites and really look there to see if they've done any, because it just, I think our answer to a lot of things that we're gonna find some chemical in herbs that will help with these certain things, but there's just not enough. I don't know if it's, they're feeling it's not ethical. I'm not sure what the scientists are thinking.
Well, I don't think the scientists are thinking anything. The scientists get funded by the corporations and pharmaceuticals, and if they don't get funded, they're not going to do the test. Let's just get honest here. And and the biggest problem with herbal medicines is just knowing what kind of quality you're getting when you buy off the counter. That's the biggest problem.
Well, that's right. And there are so many different chemical compounds and herbs. It's difficult sometimes. You give the ashwagandha root, you give the extract, and it works. So then you extract one of the chemicals and it doesn't work. So it wasn't that one. But sometimes I believe that it's the chemicals that work in the herb that work together. And so you can't separate the chemicals and expect to have the same results. But that's just me. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a researcher. I'm just using my common sense to say, really, you're going to try to separate one chemical when it's all of them together in the extract that seem to work the best. So,
well, and financially, it doesn't even make sense because it's more expensive to extract each one of the chemicals than to use the compounds. So why would you go to that trouble? So
because you're a pharmacy, because you're big pharma and you want to make money. They've also been doing some studies on cancer. So there was a study that they did that really with ashwagandha, that they stopped the cell growth in certain studies. These were lung tumors in animals. So as with most herbals, the animal studies are great, but we need to move on and do some different kinds of studies that lead us to doing applications with humans, so we can prove some of these things beyond a shadow of a doubt to the FDA so they can approve it. And I don't think it's just like me being able to take the ashwagandha and the different time that Carrie takes hers and Elizabeth not being able to take it. It's the same thing. The different herbs are going to work differently for different people because we all have different chemical compounds or chemical, the way our bodies work are basically the same, but there's little minute differences from person to person.
well, the big thing that I have noticed, and especially with myself, but when talking to other people, is that a lot of people will build up a tolerance to certain herbs as well. So that they're not curing, the symptoms or the condition, but they're helping to alleviate the symptoms. But once you built up a tolerance to certain compounds, then you have to switch the way you treat them. And like I used to take SAMI for anxiety, and then SAMI just quit working for me. I don't have anxiety, I have stress. I have a very stressful life. I deal with a lot of stress and it messes up with my hormones. Never St. John's wort never did anything for me. Ashwagandha has been a lifesaver.
Yes.
Just, I mean, I don't get mad about hardly anything, not that I don't have emotions. It doesn't level me out. It doesn't kill my emotions. It just keeps me from wanting to go on top of the reunion tower and machine gun everybody,
Exactly. It keeps you from lashing out at people when you know that that's not the answer. You're just like, okay, well, let me think about this a minute. Instead of your instant reaction is to yell, scream, or hit someone.
Well, like the other day, I was at a convenience store and this homeless person approached me and started yelling at me. Normally, I would have punched them in their face because it would have been a normal reaction because you're feeling attacked. Now, I'm not sure this is a good thing, but I reached over and hugged him instead, and it got him to quit yelling, and we left friends. So, maybe it leveled me out too much, but
Well, I don't know. It seems to me that when dealing with stress, leveling is a big deal. I mean, really, because you may have that moment of you're in my face, but you don't have that moment of I will kill you if you get closer.
yeah, because
You just
I'm a fighter by nature.
Mhm, mhm. And it does. I call it rounding out my edges. So, according to some and some research, 250 to 600 milligrams a day can really help with your stress. And I err on the side of start small and go large if you have to. There are capsule dosages out there. The powders can, and there's some liquid extracts. But let's see, I was looking to see if, yeah, here it is. So the preparation known as KSM 66, which is what I was talking about earlier, is the most highly concentrated and bioavailable extract and is known to support stress and anxiety relief, improve energy, and enhance mental acuity. And I think it does. I think it does help those things with me. So
Explain bioavailable to the people.
well, it means that it is in a form that your body can use rapidly. It can readily accept the form that is produced when using the preparation known as KSM 66. So however they prepare that, your body says, oh, look, it's just ready to use. Let's use it. And that's what bioavailable means. It means that your cells recognize it right away and are not trying to fight it off.
And that's
They're
one of the
ready-
reasons why you can't go around picking leaves off trees and plants and chewing on the leaves because it's not bioavailable in that form.
Right. It is not. And that's the other reason I tell people don't go out and forage on your own. You think you know what the plant looks like, but then you get a lookalike plant that is poisonous and you make yourself sick. So just don't do that. Just let the experts, and you can buy it from companies and you can buy it in capsules. And there's a company in the Northwest called Mountain Rose Herbs that has all kinds of things. And I buy from them. I buy my elderberries from them because I have done research on the company and they are very strict with the way the herbs are collected and processed. And they make sure they're not grown with pesticides. And they go all over the world to collect their herbs, and they do their best to make sure that it's called fair trade, where the person who grows them and processes them are given fair exchange for their herbs.
They're not using slave labor and child
Right.
labor.
They're getting paid according to what they do.
So, I mean, there's a whole political system behind the use of herbs.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you need to be responsible and ethical. And I know for a while, what was the herb that was being over processed? I'll
Well,
think of it in a
sandalwood,
minute.
Indian sandalwood has been for years, and now it's almost extinct, so.
And there was another one, but they're learning to propagate them and grow them more like a crop. You know, so sage, white sage was being overpicked, overused, and they weren't replacing the sage and waiting it for it to get a certain maturity before they pluck the leaves and the stems. So there are also beauty benefits to ashwagandha if it's used as a powder on the skin. So it's an antioxidant. It helps protect against free radicals in the skin or damaged skin. It slows down the aging process. It
Too late for that.
It stimulates DHEA, which is a precursor to both testosterone and estrogen, and stimulates the production of natural oils on your skin. It promotes the production of compounds and proteins for healthy skin, such as hyaluronic acid, because it helps with the elasticity of your skin and the hydration.
But you have to use it as a powder on your skin. They don't have like a serum or.
Well, you would use the powder and put it like in a carrier oil or in a cream, or it's something I have not looked into using. But when we were talking about the serum that I accidentally made, it might be something we want to add to that.
Well, girl, you better get on it because we are not getting any younger.
No, we are not.
Time is marching across our faces.
So, you know, when you do all this research and you find all these things about the herb, and you're so excited, and it says it's also been used in shampoos to help circulation in your scalp, strengthen the hair, and to get rid of dandruff. And then it says that it stimulates the production of melanin, which is the pigment in your hair, which means it might reduce gray hairs.
Oh my gosh.
So here you are reading all these great things, and then at the end of the article, it always says, none of these claims have been proven. So buyer beware, but using ashwagandha powder in these ways has seemed to help many people and their skin. So that goes back to one herb may work for you and one herb may not. And it's very disconcerting that we don't have specific answers. I want to talk a little bit about side effects. So the long-term safety of ashwagandha is not known. And it's recommended that you take it 1 to 2 week break after taking it for 3 months of continuous use.
Uh-oh.
Now, they do recommend that for a lot of herbs. After you've taken it for 3 months, just take a 2-week break and then you can go back. And I think they really recommend that because there may be something going on that you're not aware of as you're taking it. And then when you're not taking it, then you are aware of it. I haven't had problems, so I don't know.
Can you be just any more vague? What the hell?
Yeah, I can be real vague because the more research I do, the more vague the research becomes. And it just is really, I want to be able to say, yes, use it. And so since I do use this product, I am here to tell you it works for me. You should try it for your stress.
Did you take a break?
I do occasionally take a break.
I skip a day just because I forget to take my vitamins, but I've never taken a break.
Yeah, I have taken a 1 to 2 week break. Usually I take, the first time I take it for an extended length of time, then I take that break and see, did it really make a difference? You know, were there other symptoms going on with it? Now that I'm not taking it, what am I seeing? But you have to be totally aware and record things. You know,
Well, that's just a lot of work.
well, yeah, but you're talking about your health. So Taking large amounts of ashwagandha can lead to digestive upset, diarrhea, nausea, and vomiting. And they're talking about anything over 6,000 milligrams, which would be 600 grams. You really don't want to do that. And the root extract is more potent. So that would be a 1,500 milligrams. You never want to take that much. Because if those side effects persist, you just have to quit taking it. And if you took a low dose to begin with and saw a difference, then that would certainly tell you that I'm going to stick with this low dose until it doesn't work anymore. And then you could up it a little, but don't go more than 600 milligrams a day. Really, you're putting yourself at risk. So if you're pregnant, it can cause distress to the fetus, and it can cause premature labor. It's the chemicals in ashwagandha are not for you if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. And of course, for safety, you should only purchase products that are produced by reliable manufacturers. And I know it sounds corny, but to me, the CVS products are really nice. It's produced by that company. Now, I don't know who makes it originally, but they seem to work very well.
Well, that's one of the things that I love about Amazon is that I get most of because I take a lot of vitamins and supplements because of my internal issues. I don't absorb all of my nutrients, just so the people know. And so I have to take more nutrients. I have to have more protein than the average person, things like that. And so when I buy supplements and vitamins and things like that, I look for at least 2,500 reviews, and they have to be at least 4.5 average stars out of 5, with at minimum of 2,500 reviews. And then I go and read the reviews that are the most current, because a lot of times these manufacturers will change or the suppliers will change, and it was a great product 3 years ago, but it's no longer a great product, but they still have high ratings.
Well, you also, I think that companies like, what the heck is the name of it? There's several of them. But if you take a lot of herbs, you kind of know what the best companies are for their quality, their their safety, their how they make things. I pretty much will not. I guess I trust how CVS monitors their. This is not an ad for CVS. I'm just saying that I had discovered that
Okay, good luck.
Yeah. And there are other ones out there that I have used but I mainly look for the KSM-66 preparation. That's what I look for. And then I will tell you again, if you're going to take herbs, talk to your doctor. If he doesn't have a clue, find an herbalist. And if you can't find somebody that you trust, do the research yourself. Is it going to interfere with these prescription medications that the doctor is giving you? And remember what I told you about Carrie? So this is one of the side effects. It's drowsiness. It helps you sleep better. But if you find that it causes lingering drowsiness, you certainly don't want to take it during the day, because driving and operating a vehicle is hard enough as you get older. So don't take those chances. Here are some additional, if you're to have a thyroid condition or take thyroid medication, you should not use it. If you have hormone sensitive prostate cancer, do not take it, because it will increase testosterone and estrogen in your body, the ashwagandha. So if you take benzodiazepines, anticonvulsants, or barbiturates, do not use ashwagandha. If you're taking immunosuppressant drugs, do not take ashwagandha, because it can improve your immune responses. If you have diabetes or stomach ulcers, do not take ashwagandha. And if you are scheduling surgery, stop it 2 weeks prior to surgery. There could be a potential with interaction with anesthesia.
Now, I don't understand what you were saying about the thyroid. It interferes with the thyroid?
It interferes with your medication.
If you're taking medication, okay.
If you're
Because
taking medication.
the ashwagandha that I have actually also includes turmeric, curcumin. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
And rosea root, and ginger root, and black pepper is combined in that, all inclusive. And that's one of the things that says that it's good for thyroid production.
That would be because of the turmeric and the curcumin. And the black pepper is used to make the turmeric bioavailable to the body.
Okay. So, I got to tell you a real quick story on the turmeric. I got a new face serum, and it's got all these things in it, and I didn't read the label all the way through. And one of the things that in it is turmeric. And so when you pump the little serum out, it's orange. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. And I put it on, and as you're rubbing it in, immediately your face turns orange for a minute. And I'm
Yes,
like,
it
oh my
does.
God, what have I done to myself?
Turmeric root is used as a dye.
Well, it fades in, it goes in, it absorbs, but as you're rubbing it in, it's orange all over your face, and even just a little drop. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done?
I have now painted myself orange.
And then I read the label, and then I figured out what was going on. So you should read all your labels carefully.
When I'm able to get turmeric root to put in my tea and I slice it up, I always have orange fingers when I'm done.
Oh, looks like you've been eating Cheetos.
Yeah. So I think ashwagandha I can recommend it wholeheartedly for stress. I think that if you take prescription medications for stress or some sort of antidepressant, you can still try the ashwagandha. Just do it with caution. Don't find the preparation that's KSM 66. And I think that's the most bioavailable one, and it's going to be the most consistent as far as delivering the proper amount to you.
You always sound a little drunk this time of day.
Yeah, well, you have to just be careful. Don't go crazy. Take it on your day off. Take it in the morning or take it at noon and see how you react to it. Does it make you sleepy? Does it make you dizzy? Do you feel that it's interacting with anything else? You have to be your own advocate for this. You can't just willy-nilly. What can I say? You need to take it with an
Use some common sense is what you're saying.
Yes, you need to take it with just like any other herb, with an overabundance of caution.
I do that even with pharmaceuticals. Just because the doctor prescribed it doesn't mean it's going to be good for me.
No, and you could be allergic to it. Is there a rash? Is there so there's a lot of medications that the doctor says, here, take this. But there could be a side effect. Now, is it life-changing side effect? Or is it just an irritating one? And you have to decide.
Yeah, that always cracks me up on those disclaimers for pharmaceuticals. Do not take this drug if you are allergic to it. Oh, thank you.
How do you know you're allergic to it? No, you don't until you take it for the first time. When I was in the hospital, I was in the hospital with a staph infection, and they gave me the #1 antibiotic. What the heck was the name of it? I don't remember. Vancomycin, and it's going to cure you. I had anaphylaxis. I went into anaphylaxis. Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime I go to the hospital for anything, the first thing I say is, do never, never, never give me morphine. Never. Because it makes me so sick. and it revs my body temperature way up. And they gave me morphine when I had my first knee replacement, and I had the temperature to the room turned down to 50. And I mean, you could literally see steam coming out when people talk, and I am burning up. The nurses are wearing coats in my room, and I had the dry heaves for 24 hours. I mean, I was just sick.
There's a medication for nausea, and when they give it IV, it can cause hallucinations. So I
Sign me up.
was hallucinating and seeing little red men and people walking in and out of walls, and well, we just don't know what's wrong with you. And so they come in to give me this nausea medicine IV, and I immediately start hallucinating, and I went, I know what's causing it.
Yeah, I'm higher than a kite, and I still know what you did wrong.
And then the head nurse goes, oh, well, sometimes that can happen.
Thank you very much. Yeah, don't give me morphine.
I've
Do
been
give me
telling
what's the drug that starts with a D for pain? Dilaudid,
Dilaudid, Demerol.
Dilaudid. I
Dilaudid.
love Dilaudid. I love everybody on Dilaudid. I want to have sex with everybody on Dilaudid.
Oh, good Lord. Well,
And I will tell them I want to have sex with them on Dilaudid.
don't
And
give
then
her
I
that.
before I can do anything, I pass out.
Yes, well, that's the result of some medications, and herbs are no different. You know,
Right.
herbs have those chemicals in them just like regular prescriptions do. So you have to use it with common sense, with knowledge. If you don't know what's going on, for heaven's sakes, find a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner or an herbalist.
Yeah,
Someone
and
who's
know your
going to
body.
do
Know, if you know that you react to certain things, research other products and other chemicals and other medicines to see if they're related. Just like you were talking about the relationship of ashwagandha, with other chemical compounds. Because if you know your body, then can also tune into your own intuition and know that's not going to be a good drug for me. No, I
Right.
can't take. No, I won't take that. And also, it's again, it's good to have a doctor that you trust, but don't rely on them completely because again, I'm a big mental health advocate, so I have a lot of experience in that arena. A lot of doctors still don't know that if there is a tendency to mania, you cannot give that person steroids freely. It can create manic episodes, So you've got to know what's good for you and keep notes and keep track of that, and then trust your intuition. And there's just certain things I won't take, and certain things have the complete opposite effect. Like Benadryl makes most people sleepy, not me. I'm wired
Oh,
for sound
yeah,
when I'm on Benadryl.
yeah. You have it has a paradoxical effect on you.
I like that word, paradox.
Paradoxical.
I'm an
So
enigma.
so that's the other warning, know yourself. And if you're going to your doctor, be sure you tell them about your herbals. If you're going to the herbalist, be sure you tell them about your prescriptions, because those things can interact when you're not, I'm not going to recommend that you take something willy-nilly. I'm going to say, what are you taking? Do you have any disease diagnoses from your doctor? I mean, herbalists don't diagnose. They help you with your symptoms. They help you try to have a more balanced life. They're not here to tell you that, you have sinusitis or you have, although some of the things that
Doctors.
happen,
They're not doctors. They're not going to
no,
diagnose.
no, they do
So
not diagnose. It's not their
this is
job.
what is really smart to do, whether you're dealing with an herbalist, anybody in the medical profession, anyone that's going to give you something to put in your body, is you make a list of all the meds that you're on, all the supplements that you take, including breaking down the dosages of things in your multivitamin. Just to say I take a multivitamin is not good enough. They need to see, and if they're a really good doctor, they will appreciate seeing the breakdowns, because there's things in your multivitamin and you're also taking additional that you may be overdosing. You may be taking too much of that one vitamin or several vitamins. So they
Mhm.
need to see the big picture. Your herbalist needs to see the big picture.
All right.
So,
And if you go to an herbalist and they don't ask you what medications you're taking, leave.
yeah, immediately.
What
Immediately.
medications are you taking? You know, I had a young lady come and talk to me at market, and she said, I need help with my blood pressure. And I said, well, you know, I don't have any medications here that can help you with your blood pressure, but tell me about it. What kind of medications are you taking? Are you seeing your doctor? One, she wasn't seeing her doctor. One, she knew that her blood pressure was up. She happened to be Black, and the Black community has a really high risk with high blood pressure. And so you have to know that. And, you know, I just was like, you're not seeing your doctor for your high blood pressure? I said, have you talked with your doctor? Well, no, not really, but he said it was a little high. So, you know, you have to encourage the person who comes to talk to you to be more prudent, because there are herbals that can bring your blood pressure down, and ashwagandha is supposed to be one of them. But if it's overly, you know, because I have trouble with high blood pressure, and mine will go up to like 180 over 90 or something. And
Yeah,
I
but was she experiencing pain? Pain can make your blood pressure go up,
I don't know.
you know, things of
She
that.
didn't.
So there's a lot of things that can cause symptoms, but they're not the direct result of what the problem is,
Right.
you know.
And I told her, I said, here is my card. Let's sit down. Let's have a discussion about it. Let's find out, you know, about your diet. That's another thing that, you know, how much salt is in your diet, how much, and there's it's about making the whole person healthy. It's not about
Holistic.
it's not about just pushing drugs or just saying this herb will fix it.
Yep, makes
A lot of
sense.
times you can control things. Like if she cuts salt out, she might be able to bring her blood pressure down. It just depends.
Change the fat in her diet that much, you know,
I
reduce the
mean,
anxiety and
there are
stress in
tons
her
of
life,
things, there are tons of things you can change nutritionally
you know.
that can make a difference.
Full-time caregivers, a lot of times they have blood pressure issues just because of the stress, you know. So there's
Mhm.
so many components. You have to look at the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. What's going on in their mind? What's going on in that body? Where are they spiritually? They all relate to one another. So, all right, tell
Yeah.
people how they can call you and you can tell them what
Oh,
they're doing wrong.
well, email me. That's probably the best way, which is Herbal Lou 1105. That's HERBALLU1105 at gmail.com. You can go to my website, www.herbal-lou.com, HERBAL-lou.com. And those, my products are there. And a lot of times, if you want consulting, there's a form there for you to fill out that I will receive if you want to. You can, on my Facebook, Facebook /Herbal Lou.
All right, we got them all covered.
I think so.
So this is Louanne Morris, and I'm Deborah Colleen Rose, and we've been talking Herb Talk.
And have a great day.
Yep. See y'all again soon.
Bye.